Hey Nintendo fans and collectors, Lithium here from my channel Nintendo Collecting, bringing you another Pokémondays video. This one is a how-to video of how I made these 4 frames for the starter Pokemon from Pokemon Blue, Red, and Yellow, or Green basically, in Japan. Now this project cost me roughly $30. It includes some pictures, some matting, and some frame, and it was pretty fun to put together and just kind of have this idea. To give you the background of this, I usually try and do art projects or projects like this for my room as they come up in my life, as I see them. I was at a framing store that's local, somewhere near my area, and I saw these 4 colored frames, and my brain got going from there that it would be really cool to kind of have the starter Pokemon. Yellow for Pikachu, green for Bulbasaur, blue for Squirtle, red for Charmander. Those 4 colors are commonly used in Nintendo 64 and Nintendo marketing in general in the past as well. So my brain got going. Essentially with these projects, I see something and I think, how could I use this in a cool way with my Nintendo room? And that's where it started. So really the frames came first. So I'm going to take one of these down, and Charmander is just the easiest one for me to grab. So I'm going to grab that Charmander, and then I'm just going to discuss how I actually put this together. Now, Charmander himself, that little sheet of paper came last. So first things first, the frame. The frame itself I did not make. Like I said, I found that at the custom frame store. And they are exactly 12 inches by 12 inches, except for the blue one. You might notice the blue one is actually slightly wider, slightly longer. I'm going to have to take it apart and fix it because it has been bothering me, and other people have noticed as well. But the frame itself didn't have glass. It was just that wooden frame, and it was already painted, but I am sure you could go to some sort of store and find a 12 by 12 frame like this, and usually they don't cost very much. These frames cost me $5 each, which wasn't that expensive. I was willing to do that just because I wanted to pick them up because they looked really cool. So after I bought the 4 of those for 20 bucks, I then decided, well, I'm going to need some sort of matting to go in behind it to fit. So I went to Michael's, my local craft store, and in Michael's they had tons of this paper that is 12 inches by 12 inches, perfectly fitting into most of these. I did have to cut them a little bit to make them fit a bit better. So I went searching basically for 4 colors, yellow, green, blue, and red, that I thought would fit really well into these, and that would look awesome. Then I just brought them home, I cut them just barely to make them fit, and I taped them in. Then I went online and I started my search for the Pokemon pictures. And the pictures themselves I could find on many different websites, but I was trying to find 4 that were higher quality images that all looked kind of similar. You can tell that all 4 of those images look kind of similar. The Pikachu one has a thicker outline, so it's actually not part of the same set. And yes, the pictures they're not official Nintendo to my knowledge, but anyone drawing them really doesn't have the official license. So let me just grab something to show you what the pictures are actually all about. And we're just going to put that down for a second. So my first time printing them, they actually came out a lot smaller. For example, they came out wrong, I should say. This is Charmander. I printed it as a BMP, I think, and I should have printed it as a JPEG. So it zoomed in on it for me, and it wasn't a full shot. Even though that looks kind of cool, it's like a profile picture of his face. Pikachu, the same thing. It was just zoomed in. And Bulbasaur was the same thing, it zoomed in, but Squirtle, for whatever reason, turned out okay. So the pictures themselves, I then searched online, I found them, and I used Photoshop to make an 8 by 8 image, and I chose a background color that was slightly different than the matting, or at least I tried to kind of make it look like this picture in picture. I also thought of the idea originally that I was just going to cut out Charmander perfectly and put him in there, which I might do so at some point, but I do think this looks pretty cool. Then I just printed them at any local printing store. So many places print. Make sure they print 8 by 8. If they don't, you could print 8 by 12 and then cut it out and then do it yourself. Essentially, in summary, the frame cost me $5 each. The matting was $1 at Michael's, and to print the picture was honestly like 30 cents or something like that, but you could call it $1 with taxes for everything for that. So it was about $8, $7, I guess, each. So in total, this whole project cost me maybe $30. It took me maybe 2 hours of running around to get this done, and it's really unique to add this into my Nintendo room. It just fits this space really well. And that was the other thing. I look at the space I have in my Nintendo room and think, what could I put there maybe other than a poster to make it kind of really unique? I do have a Zelda wall, I do have a Mario wall, and I thought having something Pokemon themed in this as well would be really cool. If you have any questions about this project, be sure to comment below the video and you can ask away. I will hopefully answer them and help you out. And I know the blue one is not the same size. I do have to open that one up and maybe fix it, but I'm sure you could make your own frames to be 12 by 12, but it would be a lot easier just to go out and buy them and do this project yourself. It shouldn't cost you more than $30. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to fill that like bucket, ask me any questions below the video. Follow me on all the social media links as well. I am on Instagram. I try and post on there whenever I can. And remember, as always, go collect them all and keep smiling while gaming.